The original reason for the defund the police movement was because the belief was that the culture of police departments had gotten so toxic that there was no choice but to start fresh. Not with zero law enforcement, but with law enforcement that actually works. Social workers instead of cops responding to mental health crises, for instance. For those that opposed the defund the police movement, a few bad apples in their mind was not a reason to get rid of law enforcement as they saw it. In case you didn't know, nuance is not something that most Americans are crazy about. The problem is that whenever these few bad apples do something wrong, they're protected by other police officers and police unions. And so you ended up with a system without accountability. Thanks to both Republicans and Democrats, as Scott Jennings likes to say, who got their knickers in a twist, we are now living in a de facto police state. We said, tell police to stop killing black people, and they heard, give them as much money as they want. And now our freedom continues to disappear as Donald Trump takes advantage of the tools that he was given. Now to the Epstein files. We've long known the kinds of things that were in these files, but now we know for sure. Well, except for the insane amount of redactions. That the most powerful people in the world, led by the current president of the United States, are conducting themselves as literal demons. Inventing QAnon to mask the horror, they in fact did engage, and probably still do engage, in the most horrific crimes imaginable. Things that have honestly made me believe in true evil again. They maintain this world through fear, of course, forcing people to stand up to the most powerful people in the world at their own peril. But leading through fear requires compliance. This is why they keep their foot on the gas, so that they give courage no oxygen. And this to me is the most clear indication that we need to start completely fresh, whatever that means. These guys were all in tight with both Israeli and Russian intelligence. And we've heard from ex-American intelligence officials that they were pretty sure what was going on as well, or at least they were reasonably confident. That means that people like George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden knew what was going on and chose to do nothing. There's no way they didn't end up with some understanding of this world after their term in office. And then you have members of Congress with top security clearance, the CIA, FBI, and all of our intelligence agencies. It wasn't just Trump's people. Everyone chose to remain silent, to protect powerful people while children were being tortured and killed. Hollywood figures who knew the likes of Donald Trump, Harvey Weinstein, and Diddy. We can't trust anyone. If you are one of the good ones and in fact didn't know anything, you're going to have to go over and above to make that well known. Not through words, but through action. These perverts were pulling the wool over our eyes throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, making us think through entertainment and other means that we were living in some kind of dream world. What all this means is that the number one priority right now is not getting ICE out of cities, it's not impeaching Kristi Noem or Stephen Miller. It is the actual removal of Donald Trump and his entire regime. And then every single member of Congress or person in power who was around during that time. Now, Trump was obviously projecting with his drain the swamp rhetoric, just like with everything else, but we need to actually do it now. We're not going to be violent, of course, but that doesn't mean we don't break a few things along the way. And we don't stop until every single one of them is gone, from Chuck Schumer to J.D. Vance, from Gavin Newsom to Ron DeSantis. We drain the swamp for real this time. We'll use elections, we'll push people to resign, and will bring the country to its knees economically until they're gone. We know how to live with the bare minimum. They don't. I know this sounds crazy and that I usually sound crazy because I tend to say things before others do. But that's where we're at, and you've got to get your head around it. It won't be easy, and everything is going to change. But we'll win because we'll do it together.